Hi guys, Bruce here. Well, my neighbor right next door brought this over. He told me it's a brand new 2000 watt generator and it won't start. But a friend gave it to him and it has fuel in it. So before we go to plan B or whatever, like I always say, I'm gonna just check and see what this fuel looks like. So I'll put you on the rest here. I'll give you guys a rest. And we're going to have a look at the juice. I got a hunch it's been sitting for at least a year, right? So it should be yellowish, not clear. Oh, screen. Yes, believe it or not, that is 1 year old fuel. So, what do? I guess we try and start it, although they've been yanking on it for a long time, right? And I really dislike working on these because of all the covers and everything. Don't even talk like that. Don't get discouraged, Bruce. Use the force. So we're gonna get the drill out and a Phillips some sort, and we're gonna take the cover off. Can you guys see that? Got a little sunlight coming in the window. Yes, lighting. That should work. Let's try number 1 instead. Maybe that'll fit better. Yeah. Okay, let's get this cover off of here. Yes, I'm using a drill because there's so many of them. Start low. Oh, there's only 3 on the high side. Okay. If there's only 3 on the high side, maybe it'll just fold down after I get the 3rd one out. Yes. Okay. So now, right in here, we might have access to the carburetor. There's the air cleaner. And it has a drain. Well, let's just do that first, eh? We'll hang it over the floor. I know, I'll be right back. So right there is the drain for the carburetor bowl. So if I loosen that off, we should get some gas fall into this little tray down there. Let's just try that. I'll hold you. I won't let you go. Don't worry. Yeah, there's gas. Gonna see how bad it looks. We'll let a good amount purge through. Oh, it quit. It's probably a gas on, gas off lever. Probably the lever on button, eh? Let's just see here. Where am I? Sorry for the motion. Oh, it should still continue leaking. Yeah, it does. When I turn off this switch here, that should stop. And it does. Let's see how this looks. So this looks a little more yellow than the other stuff. And there's lots of crap in it. Boy, it would be nice to operate on this carburetor without taking it off the motor, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to just sit and regroup I will check for a spark to make sure that it has a spark, and then we'll carry on. Alright, I'm going to tighten this bowl nut up. I'm pretty sure that it's got a clogged carburetor, but I'm going to just pull on this one more time. I have it turned on. And now I've disconnected the breather tube, and I'm going to shoot a little bit of carburetor cleaner in this hole right here. Right there. Which goes right into the intake manifold. And I'm going to just see if that makes it, if that'll make it kick a little bit. Now the problem is it's going to go down. But it just might bark, right? Hey, did you hear that? Just getting it to fire anyway. One more. Okay, so we know it's got a spark. Wipe up a little bit of that. But it's not burning any fuel. And it's getting fuel because we can drain fuel from the carburetor. So step number 2. Take off the carburetor. And that'll be a 10 mil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off these 2 bolts, 1, 2, probably that choke lever right there, which should come off there. You see that? And there'll be a throttle cable back in there somewhere made from hell. Probably right there. So we'll try and get this carb off of here. It's actually more accessible than most suitcase generators. Well, we'll kind of let you join the fight here. I got the back one first. That's odd, eh? Usually you do the easy one first, and then I thought if I can get the back one off, I can get the front one off. Okay, now this should just pull right off. Okay. So let's try and get that off of here. Wonder if I can. Yes, I can. Good. All right. Angled pliers. Huh. Okay, we'll just try and move them back no matter what. Yeah, it's coming. I'm just fiddling around to get the fuel line off the carburetor here, guys. Got the clamp off. And now I gotta use my needle nose to free it up. We're gonna spill a little bit of gas. Don't worry. I've spilt gas before. Okay, that's... Where did it go? There it is. Okay, we'll stick it up there. And yes, that's right. These are electronically controlled. So the throttle is controlled by this variable resistor type situation going on right there. I have to get that off. So we'll see how I do. It's got clips right there. You can see those clips to the left of that choke nut. So the next thing I'm working on is right here. I'm taking off the bracket that holds that rheostat on there. So once I get that screw off and that screw off in the back, behind that other screw, there, I'll be able to pop that carburetor off of there. So I can't film and do it at once. Alright, that was a small spring that fell on the ground. I'll figure out where that came from later. There we are. I bet you it was on the end of this rod right there. Alright, I got the bottom off the carburetor. I had to pry it off, the bowl. I just took out the needle and seat with the pin. You with me, guys? Yep. I'm just making sure we're good here. Yep. And now I'm just reducing, the jet on this one is on the side, eh? Not back here. So we're just going to take that jet out. And that's probably where the clog is. And you can't see through it. I don't even know if you can see through it. No, you can't. Well, I'll show you that. That's not through the jet. That jet is so small. Now let's just take something out of my toolkit here. Just a chunk of wire. Like that. That's the jet, right? Oh, hey, whoa. That's the jet right there. We'll go backwards. We'll get a brand new piece of cloth and we'll see if we can even see it. Sometimes you can't see them. That wire is too thick. So let's try a skinnier wire. There it is. And believe it or not, there's the little tiny piece of dirt there. You can't see it. It's right. Oh, maybe you can. It's right there. And I will prove that by now holding the camera back up to the light. And now you'll be able to see through that guy right there. See that? Right there. So that's what ethanol fuel does, guys. You can't do it anymore. And if you just, you know what, if you're going to use something like this and it's for a weekend or 2 out of the year, buy that special gas that's just, it's twice as expensive, but it's going to save you hundreds of dollars, right? Okay, so I'm just going to finish blowing out all the orifices in this little carburetor, and we'll finish up. Good. If I find anything else out of the ordinary, I'll come back. So yes, the emulsion tube on this carburetor, I believe, is removable. So I'll just take that out for you. Right on. And it might be clogged, it might not be. There's 3 holes, I see 2. So there is a clog in the 3rd hole. There's a clog in this hole right here. Yeah, you can see it. Right there. And probably in that one too. Yep. Good. Okay, let's do them all. Nope. Good. That's a. Now I'm just going to finish cleaning up this with a tiny bit of steel wool, but I will not get any steel wool fibers on anything. See how that's kind of corroded on the bottom there? And I'll blow it off over here. Yeah, everything's good there. And this should blow out sideways and then through the end. Are you watching me? Yes, you are. Yes, all three. Okay, so I'm just going to put this back together again, and we'll see if we can start putting it into the generator. Oh, I might as well have you join me. Emulsion tube in. Now, I am going to just take my drill bits and I'm going to grind a drill bit through that hole. Okay, I'm guessing it's going to be about, I'm just guessing, I got to get these gloves off. Nope. I'm going to go down one. It's close. Yep, so that's the one. I'm just going to ream this jet out the smallest amount you've ever seen. You can't even measure it. Perfect. I believe the last time I did this it was a 70. Okay, so let's just spray the brass out of there. Look at that, how much better that looks. And it's even bigger now. Yeah, my neighbor is a outdoorsman and he's going away. So I said to him, geez, if you can get that to me anytime, it'll be great. Because there's going to be lots of these coming in the next few weeks. Come on, gotta hold my tongue right. Sorry to put you through this. I don't want to strip any of these brass threads. There we go. You don't get tough with any of this aluminum and brass stuff. And the idle circuit goes back in there, and I know this is going to run now. So now we got to get the old gas out of this generator before we put anything back together again. Good. Everything looks fine. All right. So I'll just turn you off and I'm going to start reassembling stuff. Okay. I got that little spring in there. I hope you can see that. It's right. Just a minute. Hang on. It's right there. And it goes in between the two tabs on the throttle, right there. So that wasn't easy, just because the spring is under tension and it wants to jump off. So before we get any further, I'm going to attach this bracket. This is the one that I was trying to unattach while it was on the generator and it was impossible. Good. Okay, that should be good. Now, I'm going to reattach this choke wire, and I'm only going to put it back on where it was, because I can do everything outside the generator now, right? So that looks like the squish mark on that cable. Is right there. And then I got a little 8-inch or 8mm wrench to hold that. And we'll just tighten that up. Probably doesn't have to be too tight because it's just holding a baby cable. There we go. Now I'm going to hopefully put this back onto... Oh, we might as well hook up the gas line. Well, we got room. Where is that beast? That's the problem with these little crazy suitcase generators, is they're really nice for the customer, but they're not that nice for the guy who's working on them. And now I'm just attaching the gas line and the clamp to the fuel. Good. And I should be able to just pop that onto the studs. Okay guys, I had to start again, and I disconnected this throttle control that has that little spring on that tab, and I'm going to just push it in the back there for now until we are done getting this carburetor on. I've got no other option. So let's just push that back. I should be able to just hold it with my fingers. And we should be able to just push this carburetor onto this post now. We are almost there. Oh, I don't want to. I have to take this post out. Gee. There we are. Okay. Well, that's a quarter of the battle. No, I dropped it again. Okay, I'm going to get that spring on there and I'll show you. Okay, I finally got this spring mounted. It's right there. You see that little horizontal spring? See if I can get it again. There it is, right there, to the left of that big spring, and that's the one that controls. It's just a dampening spring for the throttle on that electric throttle governor or whatever you call that thing. And the guys that work on these every day would know. But what I did was I put just a tiny bit of stiff grease on the end of that spring, and it finally stayed on the knob, right there. So I'm just going to wash that a little bit with some solvent, and then that'll be it. Hopefully we got this. I'm just going to put it back together again. Air intake manifold right there, right? And a few screws for the air filter, and we'll leave the cover off, and I'll come back when I'm ready to start it. So I just have to tighten up a few things, just like that. And that goes on that. Anyway, you guys get the gist. I'll come back when I want you. Alright, everything's back together. The intake manifold is now on. It sucks air from the air cleaner. The carburetor is cleaned, and I just drained some gas from the tube there, from the drain right there on the carb. It's all hard to see because I have it on choke right now. And we are ready to give this a go. So I don't know about this electric throttle control, if it's just going to pick up where it needs to pick up or if it has to be set at an exact spot. So let's just I'll back you up as much as I can here, and if it fires, let's see, it's going to be shooting exhaust back at the wall, so I'm going to have to be conscious of that, and we'll get something to test it with. And I think a circular saw, because I don't have an AC load box, will be perfect. Because they draw about 8 amps. Okay. Contact on, choke. We have gas, we have oil, we got a clean air filter, and it hasn't run enough to get the spark plug dirty. It's only got about 3 hours on it. So let's try this. Runs like a champ. Let's just see what that throttle does. Perfect. Sorry for the shakies. We're done.